All right, it seems that it's 3 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Regular meeting council, this is November 3rd, 2025. This meeting is being streamed live through the St. Clair Township website. By attending a public meeting of council, you are consenting to your image, voice, and comments being recorded and published to the township website. Anyone who is invited to speak will be recorded, and their voice, image, and comments will form part of the live stream and public record. Land acknowledgements. We acknowledge that this land on which we are gathered today is part of the ancestral land of the Chippewa, Ottawa, and Potawatomi peoples, referred to collectively as the Anishinaabe. It is through the connection of the Anishinaabe with the spirit of the land, water, and air that we recognize their unique cultures, traditions, and values. Together as treaty people, we have a shared responsibility to act with respect for the environment that sustains all life, protecting the future for those generations to come. Declaration of pecuniary interest. Anyone has one, they can claim it now or when time rolls around. So we have a couple of presentations. First one at 3:10, so we'll carry on until then. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held on October 20th, 2025 be received and approved. Do we have a mover? Councillor Brown. Seconder? Councillor Foster. Anybody have any questions on this one? All those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved, Be it resolved that the minutes from the Heritage St. Clair Committee held on September 17th, 25 be accepted and approved. Have a mover for this one. Councillor Myers, second. Councillor Langus. Anybody have any questions on this? All those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the request for a dog park in Corunna be received. Have a mover to receive. Councillor Foster. We have a seconder. Councillor Langstaff. Anybody have anything on this one? None. All those in favor to receive the report? Carried. Does anybody want to make a motion for the request for a dog park in Corunna? Seeing none? Lost. Be it resolved that the following information items be received. The town of Plimpton, Wyoming, letter to the St. Clair Region Conservation regarding objection to the updating hearing guidelines, and 7.2, Lambton Farm Safety thank you letter. Do we have a mover for this? Councillor Langus. Seconder? Councillor Langstaff. All those in favor? Carried. Does anyone want to make a motion for any of the information items? Councillor Langus.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to support the letter to the St. Clair Regional Conservation Area.
Okay. Would anybody like to second it? Councillor Langstaff. Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Got that one, Jeffrey. Be it resolved that the vendor invoices and RBC Visa charges report as submitted by Treasurer George Lozon be received and the included invoices be approved for the period of September 28th, 25 to October 25th, 25, totaling $9,433,427.88, and RBC Visa charges for the period September 16th, 25 to October 15th, 25, totaling $37,132.08. Do we have a mover for this? Deputy Mayor. Seconder? Councillor Foster. Anybody have any questions for this? All those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the financial statements for the period of January to September 25 report as submitted by Treasurer George Lozon be received as information. Have a mover for this one? Councilor Myers, seconder. Councilor Brown. Any questions on this one? Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mayor Egger. I guess if I go down as far as page 21, 22, the golf course is showing a deficit of $370,743, or I guess when you take off the one portion of the revenue, it's $241,000. Are we on track to be out of the deficit mode? I know this is reporting as of the end of September 30th, so.
George, you over there? Eric?
I'll give it a go, and then I'll see if Eric can explain it, but I think I understand it. Eric and I had a chance to talk about it, so.
Okay.
I think it's because when I prepare my budget, it's in a lump sum for the whole entire year, and this is broke down, it's really not showing the last quarter. So typically, we always go backwards a set amount. So where it's saying $500,000, it's never been in there that's what we were gonna make at the end of the year. So right now, Eric and I figured it out that we were basically coming in basically where I projected. But it was a very hard year to budget for because we opened a little bit later than we thought we opened, and it's kind of been all over the map when we got open, so. And then Eric probably finish.
Yeah, I guess I'd say that the focus is we projected to have a bottom line by the end of the year of about 256,000, and current year to date's at 280. So with the last quarter coming in, it'll all depend on how those 3 months fare, but we're not as far off as it looks as if we are currently with the way that the budget's allocated by month.
Well, it's been a mixed up year over there. I mean, everything's been a lot going on, so, yep, thank you.
Through the worship.
Yep.
Through the worship. I had the privilege of standing in for Mr. Brown for the Wilkesport, or the Sombra Golf Course Committee meeting. And you highlighted that you had a slow start to the season, but you also had some record months, a few record months. Can you touch on that, Kendall?
Yeah, so I guess through the mayor, so just to highlight quickly through the year, like we didn't get open until April, so we lost and we brought some staff on to get trained. Then when we got into our May, June, July, August, September, and October have all been record revenue months. We've had some record expenditure months in there too. But it's, when we opened it, I definitely feel that we opened it with the intention of not dropping the ball. So we were maybe a little staff heavy. But I was happy with the opening because we had to learn the building and we had to get people trained and onboarded as fast as we can for run a big building like that. So in the end, when it all came out in the wash and now we can get a little bit more streamlined, I feel, that we've had some really record revenue months, and to tell you the truth, we really haven't pushed or spent any advertising dollars yet. So I do think it was a great freshman year, however you want to word that. And I think the ball's rolling, and we'll just keep it going from here.
Can only get better, Kendall. Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. I'll do one more. Be it resolved that the 2025 capital budget update projection report as submitted by Deputy Treasurer Eric Hicks be received as information. Have a mover for this one. Councilor Foster. Second. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any questions on this one? All those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the monthly fire department report for October 25, as submitted by Director of Emergency Services, Fire Chief Richard Boyce, be received as information. Have a mover for this one. Councilor Langus. Second. Councilor Langstaff. Anybody have any questions on this one? All those in favor? Carried. Oh, going quick, we can do another one. Be it resolved that the 378 Beresford encroachment agreement report as submitted by Coordinator of Engineering Andrew Malpass be received and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the encroachment agreement and corresponding bylaw. Do we have a mover for this one? Councilor Myers. Second? Councilor Foster. Any questions for this one? Councilor Brown.
If this property changes hands through a sale, is this incumbents on the deed then? That they would be aware of that? And just as a secondary question is, do we have a fee for drafting this bylaw to charge when somebody requests something like this?
Mr. Clerk. Okay. Carly? We're going down the line here.
No, they will be applying for a minor variance, so we'll be collecting a fee at that point, but as far as this agreement goes, there's no one-off fee for it.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? All those in favor? Carried. All right. Next item on the council agenda is a public meeting for application R325 for the property known as 1151 Kimball Road. The purpose of this meeting is to ensure that sufficient information is made available to enable the public to generally understand the application for and zoning bylaw amendment that council will consider. The public meeting will proceed as followed. The planner will present his report and recommendation on this application. Members of the public and the applicant will have an opportunity to speak to the proposal. The planner will respond to any questions asked by the public and members of council, and council will make its decision. All right, Ian, are you ready? Take it away.
Okay. The application is part of a severance application for a surplus farm dwelling. And as part of that process, we changed the, as a condition that's put on that severance, there's always an amendment to the zoning bylaw to that's the location of it. I'll just back up here. That's the location map. And there was a portion that was a small part that was severed out prior to this. And at that time, there was a different, how can I say it, rules and regulations where you could only do one severance. Now it's based on the total area. Just to refresh your memories, when we updated our official plan back in December of 2024, the part that's being severed for the residential lot is maximum of 2 acres, and the retained portion is minimum of 74 acres. So it complies with both of those requirements. This is the map that's proposed as part of the bylaw. This shows you where the change of the zoning, which is A1ND 14, which is the land that's being retained, and the A1-R17 is the land that's being severed with the dwelling. The other part of the property that you can see, there's 2 environmental protection polygons that are drawn there. That's for a woodlot, and that's for protection of a water area, the one that's going kind of diagonally through the property. So that's kind of the summary of it. In summary, it meets both the requirements of the official plan, the provincial policy, and based on the decision of the Committee of Adjustment, we recommend that you pass this bylaw.
Okay, thank you, Ian. Do we have any written submissions, Mr. Clerk? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition of this application? Does anyone other than the applicant wish to speak in support of this application? Is the agent or applicant present, and do they wish to speak? Are there any final questions from members of council or the planner? You must have explained it really good, Ian. So then I want to declare the public meeting closed. Council called back to order. Can I have a motion on the application? Councilor Langstaff.
Motion to pass the bylaw.
Okay. Do we have a seconder? Councilor Langus. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. We have to wait 5 minutes. Jeffrey? Should maybe. All right. We'll carry on. Be it resolved that the Nash Drive Traffic Island Report as submitted by Coordinator of Operations David Neely be received as information. Do we have a mover for this? Councilor Foster, seconder, Councilor Brown. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Neely? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Now, does anybody like to have a motion to decide the course of action for the traffic island on Nash Drive and how it will be funded? Councilor Brown.
I move we just stick with item 1. I think rather than spend the money on removing that, I mean, it was an enhancement when that area was developed, and I think it's very little cost to keep some shrubbery there. So I'll move that we vote for item 1 to leave it as is at the just maintenance cost.
Okay, do we have a seconder for this one? Councilor Foster? Any questions on this one? Okay.
I just wanted to make a comment through the mayor that I was seconding for number 1 as well, because I'm hoping with maybe some of the, not to say the Kiwanis or some groups that maybe, or some neighbors that they would be interested to upkeep it down the road. That's why I'm in favor of not paving it, and hopefully right now the township to pay for the maintenance, with hope that maybe a neighbor, because I know if I enjoy gardening and that's something that I would do, just like the old neighbor used to keep it up.
Okay, thank you. This is a good one too for our planning department down the road when developers want to leave stuff there, that we get some kind of written agreement that they're going to look after it for the duration. Or anybody else? Councilor.
The reason that this has been to our attention is because of the neglect that's been on it, and the neighbor was doing it and is tired of doing it. So I really recommend and support the fact that we're just going to hope that somebody else is going to take it on. I find it very messy and unnecessary, and I hope in the future we don't have these.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Councilor Foster?
Mayor, it's my understanding the motion number 1 is that the township would take over the maintenance. And so the reason that I'd be voting for that is, in the meantime, down the future, by paving it in closes that option for a neighbor or groups to maintain it in the future.
Deputy Mayor, did you have something?
Well, I would support keeping it. I don't know why it was ever there in the first place.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, it could go.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, let's call the question. All those in favor of number 1? 1, 2, 3. Opposed to number 1? 1, 2, 3. Oh, tie votes. Well, I could see keeping it because it does look nice, and hopefully we can find somebody to take it over, and down the road, if they don't, we can go back to Mr. Neely and get rid of it. So, carried.
I should point out that the $1,500 to maintain it is minimal compared to paying almost $14,000 to have it removed. So it wasn't a budgeted item, so I'm glad it passed.
That's fine. It's done. Be it resolved that the September and October water wastewater report as submitted by Coordinator of Operations Chris Westbrook be received as information. Do you have a mover? Councilor Langus, thank you. Second? Councilor Foster. Anybody have any questions for Chris on this? All those in favor? Carried. All right, I guess we're close enough. Do you have Enbridge on the line? Then we'll move up I can move up to 3:30, or you want to leave it? Okay. Be it resolved, whenever she comes on, Terry, just break in, all right? Be it resolved that the November Community Services Information Report as submitted by Director of Community Services Kendall Lindsay be received as information. We have a mover for this. Deputy Mayor, thank you. Seconder? Councilor Langstaff? Anybody have any questions for Kendall? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. I think that's the first time, Kendall, you've never had no questions. Be it resolved that the community service fees for 2026 report as submitted by Director of Community Services Kendall Lindsay be received as information and that the included community service fees be approved. Be it further resolved that the community service fees are effective January 1st, 2026. All ICE fees are effective April 1st, 2026. And all campground fees are effective 2027. That's because you go a year in advance on that part, right? Yeah. Okay. So we have a mover for this. Deputy Mayor, seconder. Councilor Langus, any questions on this? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the Van Dam backstop repairs report, excuse me, as submitted by Coordinator of Parks and Recreation Sue Knight be received as information and that the Van Dam Field backstop repair project totaling 32,324 be awarded to Garland /DBS Canada and the project be funded by the Playground Resurfacing Reserve. Wow, that's a tongue twister. We have a mover for this. Councilor Langs, seconder. Councilor Langstaff. Anybody have anything on this one? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Ready? All right, we'll go back and we'll go to Megan. Hello, Megan.
Hello, everyone. I am so sorry about that. I don't know what happened with Teams, but I'm so happy that you use both Teams and Zoom. So thank you so much for having me. I'll just share.
Hello. I hate Zoom. Got a glitch, Terry?
Just trying to share her screen. She's trying to share her screen.
Yeah. You could do hand signals, I guess. Megan, that's the Zoom gods getting you because you're supposed to be here. I could pay my debt to you this week.
She's muted, just so she knows.
Okay.
Do you want to say, tell her that?
You're muted. Do you got an unmute on your computer?
Yeah. We got you now.
Okay. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank goodness. Oh, jeez. Technology, I tell you.
I know.
Okay, I will just. Okay. You know what? I am just going to read my notes and I will share with the presentation with you after. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me. And Your Worship, good afternoon, Mayor Agar and members of St. Clair Township Council. My name is Megan Shannon and I'm an advisor with Municipal and Stakeholder Engagement for Enbridge Gas Ontario. And I am here this afternoon to provide you with more information on the 2027 Wabano Pipeline and Compressor Replacement Project. And Enbridge Gas is currently in the process of preparing a leave to construct application for the project, which is LTC for short. So the purpose of this project is to maintain equivalent storage space and deliverability, as well as replace and upsize the gathering line and replace the existing well lateral pipelines to address the integrity concerns and to support future eligibility for delta pressuring. Enbridge Gas has identified the need to replace the existing Wabano compressor station as it is near its end of life. And due to the scope of the project, the Ontario Energy Board OEB approval, OEB for short, approval is required to the construction start. So the proposed project includes three main components: the abandonment of the compressor station and replacement with the pipeline connection, upsizing the existing main gathering pipeline, and replacement of 5 existing well lateral pipelines. And the OEB project application will be submitted later this month. And construction is proposed to start in early 2027. And the proposed facilities are expected to be placed into service by the end of Q2 2027. The project may create temporary construction jobs in St. Clair Township, along with local construction material sourcing, opportunities for local suppliers, and Enbridge Gas will work with township staff to obtain all permits and requirements for the project. And I understand that some of our staff have been in touch with road closures and the overall scope of the project already. There was a slide where I included a map of the project, which you'll receive later, and this will be also made available on our website. So your voice as a council can make a difference in the project being approved. We are seeking council's consideration of a letter of support from council for the 2027 project, which will be included as part of the OEB application. And the OEB application process will review the need and community support for the proposed infrastructure. A letter of support will help demonstrate support and need, and previous letters of support for other projects, including the 2023 Dawn Corona project, have made a difference. And our commitment for this project is to work with township staff on all project requirements and keep council and the community informed with these updates as the project progresses, which we'll also hear from myself. So thank you so much for your time and for listening. And we truly value our partnerships in all the communities that we serve and look forward to working with you on this project. And with that, I'll answer any questions you may have. And I'm very sorry for all of the technical difficulties, but those still tend to happen in 2025.
No worries. Sometimes the airwaves just go a little crazy. Council have any questions? Councillor?
Through your worship. I understand this pipeline eventually is going to be right along the south side of Oil Springs line. There's at least 1 or 2 homes in close proximity to that, what is the current setbacks and/or future setbacks of that pipeline? Are we looking at potential setbacks for the future from the pipeline?
Your Worship, that's a great question, Counselor. I know that we are looking at setbacks. I can get those specifics for you, but please know that we are in the process of working with the landowners on that road and just speaking with them about the project and coming up with a process to mitigate any concerns moving forward.
Okay. Anybody? Counselor Brown?
Thank you, Mayor Egger. Megan, you mentioned the anticipated start date is 2027, and what's the anticipated completion or duration?
Worship, so it would start early 2027, and then the project would wrap up in Q2 of 2027, so before the end of March.
Go ahead, Counselor.
Through your worship, in the proximity of your proposed right-of-way is a few hydro poles. I also understand that there's shorter routes that you guys could potentially take, and it'd be considerably less invasive to the surrounding homes. Just wondering if you considered taking the shortest route and most least invasive route.
Worship, there are two routes that are proposed for this project. I can include that information with the clerk after this meeting, but I believe we are looking to obtain the shortest route, and that would show, again, I do apologize for not being able to show the PowerPoint in this case, but it should show both routes being quite short to what the project entails. But I'll send those details after the meeting to the clerk to share.
Okay. Anybody else? Seeing none? Would anybody like to make a motion to give our support to Enbridge?
I'll move the letter of support.
Okay.
There's a question on that.
We weren't on the agenda, so. We have Councilor Brown and Deputy Mayor. Any questions? Do you live on that route?
Yes, I do.
I'll give you a short question. You have to come up here and give your name and your address.
Thank you for taking my question. I have a couple.
Oh, you want to put the mic on there at the bottom? There's a little disc, a plastic disc. There you go. Yeah.
All right, high tech. Thank you. So I'm curious how large a pipeline this is. I've learned about this about a week ago, that this pipeline was coming through. I'm the landowner where the compressor station sits, so I've not heard of any of this from Enbridge other than they wanted to do a laydown area. There's been no consultation with landowners that I'm aware of. I'm curious how large this pipeline is and what the pressure is of it.
Did you get the name? Can you give your name?
Oh,
and
it's
your address?
Don Cabas, Kabbes.
Your address too, please.
2173 Oil Springs line.
Okay, thank you. Did you get that question, Megan?
Worship, so we have two routes proposed. They're approximately 4 kilometers. I don't know the pressure of the pipe, but I can definitely speak with our advisor that would oversee landowners and provide you with more information. I've taken down your information as well, so I can pass that along to Chris after this meeting.
Okay, thank you. Good.
Okay, I guess I'm just concerned that a pipeline going 30 to 40 feet in front of my house and not being consulted on before there's a motion, I just being concerned about that. So letting the council know of that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, we have a motion, so I'll call the question. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3. Opposed? 1, 2, 3. Here we go. All right, I'm,
Were you guys all opposed? And myself, I was for.
oh, you were opposed to? Oh, I thought you put your hand up, you were for it. Okay, motion lost then. Okay. Go ahead.
Through the mayor. Just moving forward, I'd like a little bit more information if this was going to be brought back, and to know that the homeowners were informed. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, would somebody like to table it to a different meeting? Counselor?
Through your worship, yes. I would like to have more information on a firmer route.
Okay. Seconder for that? Counselor Myers, all those in favor? Carried. So you'll be in contact and take care of it, okay. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you for your feedback. And have a good one.
Yeah, you too. We have time for the next one? All right, it's a little past 3:30, so we'll go on to the next presentation, and it's Skyline Energy, St. Clair Best Project Report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council, for having us here today. We're here today to talk about the battery energy storage projects that we are proposing and seeking municipal support resolution on, located at 459 Polymore Road. Just a little bit of a recap from the last information session we did. Skyline Energy is an experienced developer and infrastructure owner in Ontario. The St. Clair project being developed is in response to the ISO LT2 capacity procurement. It's seeking to add energy and capacity resources to the grid to meet Ontario's growing demand in keeping the grid safe and reliable. As I mentioned, this development will be built at 459 Polymore. Since last meeting, we've progressed to split this into two projects. It's a 20-acre site, a little over 20-acre site, and we have this project phased in two. The first being the smaller of the two battery energy storage systems, roughly 18 megawatts or 2 to 3 acres in size. And the phase two of this project would be bid into in 2026, going up to 180 megawatts and being closer to the 15 to 16 acres in size. We've analyzed the compatibility with the planned residential expansion in proximity and commissioned preliminary acoustic assessments to ensure that any nearby residential wouldn't have any impact on the acoustic and noise side of things. We held a public meeting on October 17th and had three members of the public come and attend that meeting. We did receive one written support letter for that, and no other negative feedback was presented at that meeting. We've had additional input from the SCRCA and CN Rail as well. For phase one of the project, there is no, we're outside of those limits. For phase two, we would be falling with some infrastructure in that area, and part of the proposal there is it would be contingent on us making sure that has no impact to the floodplain. In addition to that, we have recommitted to the community investment through a support letter and delivered a project report to the township with more details on the project. Sorry about this. I might go to the slides there to get caught up. So you can see here I mentioned it's two separate projects. So the larger project sits closer to the CN rail there, with the smaller phase one project of 18 megawatts further away. That project doesn't need to cross the CN rail line. Instead it connects on Polymore Drive to the hydro lines there. It's a 27.6 kV feeder on Polymore Road. It is further from the homes, and we're ready to move forward and bid on this project in 2025. The larger footprint site, it's got a more complicated interconnection because it's transmission connected. We'd have to go under the CN rail, work with them, and work through the SCRCA regulated area as well This is closer to that new proposed residential area, so there would be needing to be more acoustic design, whether that's berms or something built in place just to ensure that that quiet for the residents. That's a longer development cycle, which we'd be planning on bidding on that in 2026. To give you a little bit of an idea on the timelines here, phase one, we are seeking the municipal support resolution. We'd be bid in December 2025, hopefully get the contract awarded in 2026, June 2026, and fully commission the site in 2028. Next, a little bit more on the compatibility with the residential development. So we have discussed with planning staff about the expanding that residential development and assumed it could push as far east as sort of shown on the slide here. It's currently not there. So for phase one, we'd meet the applicable guideline in the MEC publication, and phase two, meet the applicable guideline with appropriate optimization of the site layout and equipment selection. As I mentioned, we did have the public meeting on October 17th. We announced that on September 30th, as well as put an ad in the Independent as well, notifying residents of that. As I mentioned, 3 residents attended and feedback was very positive at that. To get a little bit more on the lot here, so all structures are outside the regulated area. So for phase one, we are not seeking or need the SCRA-CA permission. And as I mentioned on phase two, there would be 2 sort of interconnection structures located on that grounds, but the permission would be conditional on not meeting on the floodplain requirements there, and CN Rail as well. We've reached out and talked with them about the next steps that would be required for that. Talked about a community investment there, so $1,000 per megawatt. So phase one, looking at an 18 megawatt site for 20 years, and phase two would be 180 megawatts for 20 years as well. And finally, the request of council here today is for municipal support resolution. Our priority is for that smaller phase one project. It is split up into 2 different projects. And we'd like phase two municipal support resolution 2, but we do have longer window for that as we will not be bidding into that until late 2026. Thank you very much.
Anybody have any questions? No, I do. Go ahead, Councilor.
I'm curious about the acoustic sound, and like I understand that the first one that you're doing, the first phase, is a smaller area and it's also farther away from the community. So, I want to know what it's going to be like when the larger part is closer to the community and it's so much larger. How, are they going to hear buzzing? Because that's annoying. Or what can you do to remedy that, being so close to a residential community?
So the setbacks that we're looking at are, we're almost 600 meters away for the phase one on the smaller site from any nearby residential neighborhood. We'd still be about 350 meters away from the proposed residential area. The noise that these systems kick off are essentially the HVAC systems within the battery containers themselves. So how we mitigate that and sort of protect the residential neighborhoods from that is building a large berm or something to help with that noise. But they're not noisy systems in general. There is a little bit of buzzing, but it is mainly the HVAC systems that you hear that would be no different from a residential HVAC. We just have more of them. And we are waiting for the results, and we've commissioned a group to do that full acoustic study to make sure that no nearby residential person is impacted. We do have requirements under this bid as well to ensure that, and essentially it has to be a low enough decibel that it's essentially the same noise you'd hear in that if it was by someone's window of their household as well. So there is strict requirements there. I believe it's 40 decibels that we have to stay within at that residential house.
Okay, anybody else? Councilor?
Through your worship, I'm just wondering if staff or planning department has any questions on potential zoning issues now or in the future.
Carly?
Yeah, through your worship, as they have explained, we did have a consultation with them, just a meeting with this group, and we did express concern with the close proximity to this development to undeveloped lands to the west, as noted on the map there. We do have concerns with noise, which has been brought up, and potential vibrations. So those kind of issues are still concerns at our end. Since those discussions, they have decided to block the project into 2 phases, Phase 1 and Phase 2. So some of those concerns are a little bit alleviated at this point, but we do have also, we have had discussions with permitted uses as well in this zone because it is a medium-scale zone. So we're still having continued discussions with the developer as well to work out some of those concerns.
Thank you. Anybody else? I have a couple. So we still don't know a whole lot about the energy storage and what happens with the fires and that. The last, kind of learned a little bit more from the last one that came here. I have a big issue with training for our firefighters. Like, can you include something into your proposal for that?
Yes, so we're working with a group who's a firefighter-led organization who specializes in battery energy storage, fire, and fire safety around that. And we're committed to working with the local fire department to do any training that's necessary. There is no special equipment needed for these systems, but if there is any, we would be happily provide that and committed to providing that moving forward. But any training that's needed, any support that's needed, we would provide through our partnership with that firefighter-led group.
There must be some with the fire control, because the last time around, we were guaranteed that they were gonna include 3 pumpers in with the 3 different areas. And in my mind, that's a big thing, but can I divert it to the fire chief over here if he has any questions on that?
Thank you, Your Worship. Quite frankly, I've heard nothing about this. I'm not aware of what you're doing other than the public meeting, and are certainly concerned that there's been no information provided to us. As the mayor says, other companies have met with us ahead of time to tell us what's going on, what your site are. I'm familiar in principle with what you're doing, but I'd certainly like more information before I can pass comment whether I'm for or against it.
And we'll definitely reach out to yourself and discuss the project and answer any questions you may have around that. We are selecting a Tier 1 battery manufacturer with the type of technology that is a very stable and safe battery with 24-hour-a-day thermal detection and fire suppression within that. We're committed to following all the fire regulations, spacing the batteries far enough apart from one another that the fire doesn't jump from battery container to battery container, as well as the other fire regulations, the ULC regulations as well. So these are all mandated as per our project submission there, but definitely happy to work with you on that and engage with our consultant there on the fire safety side and work with you on any needs you may have.
But basically, a lot of this, once it starts burning, it's just gonna keep burning, right? You just pour water on it. That's my understanding of how this works.
Yeah, so you don't actually pour water right onto the unit that's on fire. You pump it around to make sure that it doesn't spread from there.
Yeah.
But yes, essentially it burns down, and the fumes and sort of what's released into it is equivalent to a residential or a commercial fire. Turns into the soot, but you let it burn right down is sort of the fire mitigation efforts for this.
Because there is a lot of infrastructure back in our industrial park too, to go along with not only residential. So, okay,
Yes.
Anybody else? Seeing none, so what are you looking for tonight?
We're seeking a municipal support resolution in support of this project. We have, I believe we've submitted a form of municipal support resolution.
Through your worship, I'd like to make a motion that we table this until we can have more consultation and maybe a little bit more public input.
Okay, second by Councillor Langus. Okay, so we have a motion. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Carried. Thank you. Got behind on my, where are we here jumping? Bylaws. Okay, be it resolved that the following bylaws receive all 3 readings and thereby passed. Bylaw 40 of 25, zoning bylaw amendment 1151 Kimball Road, and bylaw 41 of 25 confirming. Do we have a mover for this? Councillor Langstaff. Seconder, Councillor Brown. All those in favor? Carried. Then we go back to councillors' reports. Councillor Langus. I forget where I started last time, so you get it first.
On October 25th, we went, the Heritage Committee had us, an opportunity for us to go to 3 of our cemeteries to do unveilings of storyboards on 2 of them. So we were at Grace, and they have a new fence there, and at Smith White, they also have a new fence there around it. Look, they both look great. And the Fisher Postal Ocean. Yeah, I learned a lot. It was very, very good to do.
Perfect.
Say more. And then, sorry. And then I attended the last big event last month at the golf course of the Backwards Golf and the Halloween party. And then on the 29th, met with the Rec Club Committee regarding our Christmas party. And that's on Friday, November 28th at our golf course. So it should be fun, nice dinner there, and that's all I have.
Much. Councillor.
Since our last meeting, I've attended the Wilkesport Community Center All Board meeting, and I think that's it. So, but there is their Harvest Home Dinner this Friday. I have tickets available if anybody wishes. And then on Sunday, this Sunday, November 9th, there's a Country Jamboree at the Wilkesport Community Center. And I believe it's the 15th, a community dance coming up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Councillor Langstaff.
Thank you, Your Worship. I also attended the Wilkesport Community Hall Board meeting with Councillor Myers, and I also attended the Sacred Heart Food Bank fundraising dinner.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Mayor Egger. October 21st, attended the grand opening and the ribbon cutting for the new St. Clair Medical Center. And I think it's, the community will be well served by that facility with a bunch of other doctors and prescription service and physiotherapy, all available. October 22nd, we had a St. Clair River Trail Committee meeting. On the 23rd, there was a conservation meeting. And I should just make note that the announcement coming out from the province here is they're going to do a review of the 36 Conservation Authority makeup. And I'm sure there'll be changes coming, but nothing is going to get changed in 2026. I think Mr. Rhodey has information on that too. It's just coming out here, so. And on the 23rd, it was the 3rd annual honoring the St. Clair River evening held by the Friends of the St. Clair River and highlighting the local restoration and remediation efforts to date. So it was held at the Corona Legion and well attended. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm kind of concerned about that with the conservation area. We were talking about this a while ago. I think we all learned about it in the newspaper. Like, something like this, I think, should be sent around a little earlier, just in my opinion. Councillor Foster.
Thank you. On October 23rd, I attended the honoring of the St. Clair River at the Corona Legion. Excellent event. That's it.
Mayor.
Well, let's start with just further to your comment about, I think the provincial government should have been the people who were talking to us about that, not the Conservation Authority, because they knew nothing about it either. So, I mean, they're talking about cutting this back to 38 to 7, which is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned.
That's where the comment was directed, sir.
Yeah. On October 21st, I attended the official opening also of the medical center. Very impressive building. On the 23rd, I attended the St. Clair Region Conservation Authority, and then went to retirement reception for Duncan McTavish after his many years of service to Anniskillen. The 25th, I also went on the heritage unveiling. Very interesting. That's 3 cemeteries that I didn't know even existed. And on the 27th, I had a committee of adjustment meeting. That's it.
Thank you. Just to hit some high points, because there was many more. I read to one toddler at the Corona Library for the county. It was a great thing, and it's always fun to go do. I did it last year, too. Attended and spoke at the grand opening and ribbon cutting of the new medical center in downtown Corona. It's a very nice facility, and I'm sure there's more to come there yet. It's not done. I attended Duncan McTavish, the clerk for Enniskillen, for many years, I think 32. His retirement, presented him with a commemorative plaque from St. Clair Township, us council, and enjoyed that. I went to Bill Richardson's 90th birthday, to the Presbyterian Church for their 170th anniversary, which was a lot of years. I've been going there for a long time, so a lot of memories there. And to the Alex Foundation, to their board meeting. So that's pretty much about it. I have a question for Dave, though. Like quite a few months ago, we had a motion for to do 40-kilometer mileage by the schools, all the schools, because I think that's provincially mandated now. I was just wondering how you're coming along with that.
My understanding was the motion was, the direct motion was in response to a request on Main Street in Courtright by the daycare there. So that one is going to be installed. The locates are done and ready to, we had to order the signs and they've just come in. So we were going to do that right away. And I believe the motion said to consider future school sites. So we didn't have any clear direction, as far as I'm aware.
I'll have to dig that out then, because I was assuming it said something else. So
Yeah,
we'll get
I
back
did
together
too.
on that.
And then I went back to look at it and I believe it said consider other sites. So we didn't have any direct motion on the other schools.
Okay, next time we come around, we'll work on that. Thank you. Anybody else? All right, so be it resolved that the meeting enter into an in-camera meeting to discuss Section 239 to continue negotiations for a pending acquisition. We have a mover for this. Councilor Lang, a second. Councilor Brown. All those in favor? Carried. Look at that motion for me, will you? Yep.